All right, we just put on the second new tire on the front end. I did the rear tires yesterday. Kevin and I did the front tire today. So the bike has all new tires, and at this point in time, I'm 99.999% sure it's complete. We've already done a test ride on the old tires. Now that we have the new tires on it, we're going to do another test ride just to make sure the tires go round and round and round. So the bike is looking good. We're going to call it good once we finish the test ride. I'll show you something interesting on the other side of the bike. Okay, this bike has the second best front brake that Triumph BSA ever came up with. It's a double leading front brake, double leading shoe front brake, and each shoe has its own lever to activate it. You can see them moving down there now, rather than just one at the top or bottom. Now the thing of it is, you have to synchronize these. I wish I had taken a video earlier to show you how to synchronize them, so I'll give you a quick explanation of what I mean. This end is held on by a pull-out drum insert. It's locked in place with a cotter key. Take the cotter key out, pull this out, leaving this lever connector loose. Then you put a wrench on here and here, and you crank them fully engaged, both of them simultaneously. And with them held fully engaged, when I'm by myself, I do it with bungee cords. You then make sure that this bar goes over and fits into this hole comfortably. If it doesn't, you adjust this end in or out so that the bar goes into the hole comfortably. Then you put the stud back in, put your cotter key in, and at that point in time, they're spaced correctly, and when you activate the brake, you'll be activating both shoes simultaneously. If you don't do this, you're going to be running on one shoe out of a double shoe braking system. So it's important, if you change the brakes, if you do anything with the front wheel, make sure that these two levers are synchronized the same by locking them on with a wrench, and then adjusting this bar as required so that it fits all the way across. One other thing I found on this bike that I've never seen before, it's pretty clever, is whoever rebuilt it drilled through this little abutment here and put a cotter key through it. Isn't that something? Just to make sure that the cable never bounces out. I can't imagine it doing that, but it's an interesting little modification that I think is rather cool. I don't know. I like it. So anyway, the bike has fresh tires on it. We're going to roll it outside and do a test ride. Just a few blocks, around blocks, to make sure it still goes round and round and round. And then we will call it complete and let the client know. Okay, we're going to do a test ride. This is a cold start. The bike hadn't been run in 3 or 4 days. So tickle done, ignition on. Let's see if it messes with. Oh, it's messing with you, Kevin.
I know, I couldn't get that lucky.
Now you had your start.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens when it warms up. But may have to do a little bit more balancing on that carbs. It's a twin. I tell you, I like the single carb bikes so much better than the twin carb bikes. With a single carb, you have one carb. With two carbs, you have to do a lot of synchronizing to get them to come off of idle smoothly and run smoothly throughout the full range. So there he goes. Well, here he comes back. He's under his power, coming back under power. That's always a good thing. Let's see if it's smoothed out. All right, so it's
Excellent.
okay. So it sounded pretty rough when you pulled out.
Yep.
It smoothed out as it warmed up.
Yep. Yep. Smoothed
Okay.
out fine.
All right, we'll double check the pilot jets
Yep.
and maybe clean the plugs, but I think it's ready to go.
I agree.
All right, good. Good test ride. All right, let's talk about pilot jets. The pilot jet controls starting the bike, idle. Off idle kicks in by the needle being lifted, then the needle jet takes over, and then the main jet cuts in when the slide is all the way up. The jets are accumulative, so if one of them is out of sync, it'll mess up the full range of the throttle. So especially the pilot jets, these guys cause more trouble because the new gasoline clogs them up in a heartbeat. It just causes the tiny little passage to clog up, and we're talking within a matter of days. The gasoline, this new E10 gasoline, is horrible on pilot jets. All right, on the side of the carb there are two adjusters. This adjusts the idle speed by lifting the slide up and down. So we do that next. Then we take this guy, this is your pilot jet, and you sort of want to know what the last guy set it at. All right, Kevin, go ahead and do that. So what you do is you turn it in, half turn it at a time. That's 1/2, 1, and about a quarter. So 1.5 turns in means it was set at 1.5 turns out. So now you take it out completely. Now the good news is this is a new Premier carburetor, so the pilot jet is actually removable from the other side of the carb, but you can clean it from here. Now let's go over here and I'll show you some of the cleaning needles. Try to move this slowly without making anybody dizzy. And getting over here. These are some needles that can be used for cleaning pilot jets. I bought this one several years ago off of the internet. It's brass, and it has an actual miniature drill bit in it that will clean out the needle jet. It's about a 20 thousandths, maybe a little bit less drill bit. This one and this one, well, this is another one I bought, and I put the shrink tube on it just to give it a better grip. It's just a plain wire. These I found recently online, and there's 2 packages of these, and there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, I think 10 in each one, maybe 12. And they're for cleaning welding tips, I think. But they also have a tiny, tiny, tiny little drill bit on the end that acts as a scraper. And what I did is I took these and I just pressed that rubber thing down to the end. So now this is what I'm using to clean pilot jets. We'll go over to the other side, once again slowly, and I'll show you how you can clean the pilot jets using a little bitty cleaner tool. It goes in here and you feel around until you get it to go through the pilot jet. If it's all crusty, you can actually feel it break through, and then clean it out, scrape it back and forth, clean out the crud that's formed, and that takes care of that. Now, assuming the last guy did it somewhat properly, we can go ahead and put the adjuster screw in there. Kevin's going to put that in. And screw it all the way in until it stops. And back it back out, 1.25 turns, which is where the last guy left it, assuming he did it correctly. and we'll go from there with the adjustments. So we're going to start the bike right now and check to see if it's balanced, and I'll do a video of that too. Okay, we cleaned the plugs, adjusted the pilot jets, cleaned the pilot jets and adjusted them. Bike sounds great. I think we're going to bless it and call it good.